At first blush, the latest controversy in the board gaming world seems to be a two-sided consideration surrounding the ethics of whether board game publishers should use artificial intelligence or human artists to create art for their games. However, there are three additional sides to the discussion that we also need to consider. 1. How new technologies shape creative progress. 2. How do we define what art is and who can create it? And 3. The financial impacts of these choices. This is Legendary Tactics. In case you haven't been following the dispute, let me lay out the essence of the conflict. On one side, we have board game publishers beginning to use fledgling artificial intelligence to develop the artwork for their game. From a business perspective, using a tool to save the company money to reduce their expenses makes sense. Using AI is not only cheaper, but also quicker. Is it not up to a publisher, after all, to decide what they want their art to look like and who or what should create that art? Now, the other side of this debate centers around the ethics of replacing human artists with an AI that's been trained using public databases and websites. Essentially, the AI is regurgitating the work of human artists without giving credit to or compensating the original artists or having their permission. The gray area of this debate is knowing which sites, which artists, and to what degree they've influenced the final products that appear in published board games. The purpose of this video is not to take a side in this issue, but rather to present arguments that we ought to consider on both sides. If you feel I've missed crucial arguments for either side or have been unfair in any way, please add them in the comments. But does the conversation change if it's an established publisher like Stronghold Games with Terraforming Mars, one of the most successful board games on the planet? Should all publishers be beholden to the same moral compass? Social media threads lean towards forgiving small creators without substantial financing who are trying to get some games to market, but they strongly vilify established companies that also do so. Is it fair to compare companies based on their size and success? Let's turn to the main arguments I proposed at the start of the video. First, we need to discuss technology. Think about how technology has impacted art in the past. When Nicephore Niepce created the first camera, or Edward Muybridge created the first sense of movement on camera and film, or with the advent of televisions, art was fundamentally changed. Tools were used to change and enhance what had previously been done, and many opposed these new advances while others embraced it. Rather than making a photorealistic painting, we could now use photography to capture images, and so visual art changed. AI tools are now giving non-artists the ability to create art. And just as the internet has democratized the creation and distribution of film, so too will AI change how visual art is approached. So from a technological perspective, the inevitable evolution of new technologies to assist humans with the creation seems like a desirable outcome. But we also need to consider this issue from the perspective of art. Central to many of the arguments I'm seeing against using AI seem to be that the quality of the art is poor, and right now it often is. However, as technology progresses and as humans get better at prompting and manipulating AI art, when we can no longer tell the difference between so-called real and artificially developed art, will this argument simply vanish? Terraforming Mars is by no means an artistic masterpiece. Its stock and clip art aren't the reason that people bought the original or the reason that they play this game. But does using this technology undermine the very purpose of making art? Art is, after all, the outward expression of the human soul. And if you look up the definition of art, you'll find that most include the word human. Using AI tools feels like a cheat, like a shortcut to greatness. It feels like a plagiarism tool. If you can simply input other people's art and then spit out another version of it, this feels like really lazy theft. On the other hand, though, is creating a board game itself an art form? Does an increase in accessibility to new aesthetic designs mean that more creators will get their products into the market? What board games from indie publishers might not get made if only human artists, who are sometimes expensive, are welcome in the space? For many, board gaming is just a hobby and a tool for social connection, but we need to be realistic. It's also a multi-billion-dollar industry that's projected to grow from $13 billion USD in 2023 to $26 billion by 2030. And if AI is creating images using already existing copyrighted work and a company's making money from those sources without paying any of the creators from whom the work was generated, isn't that rather like a student who gets an AI to write their essay and then presents it as their own work? Part of the financial impact we have to consider is how hardworking artists who have trained for and honed their skills for years in this field will not only lose jobs, but also have their work used indirectly for AI training to replace them. The legality of AI art will certainly be challenged in court. It already has started happening. Matthew Allen's AI art won first prize at a state fair, but it cannot be copyrighted according to the US Copyright Office because it's not sufficiently human-made. Allen made 624 text prompts and worked in Photoshop to create the art and argues that this much involvement makes the art partially human-made. We're all using tools after all. He's continuing his suit in federal court. Likewise, there are already lawsuits against Midjourney and Stable Diffusion for violating copyright law by using artists' work from the web without their consent. One complication with such lawsuits is knowing when creators are using AI. It isn't always apparent now unless the creator declares which tools they used and to what extent they use them. One thing is certain, it will take some time for the law to catch up with the advancements in technology. And now that this technology is here, this genie won't be returned to its bottle anytime soon.